Hey, what's going on, Ecom Dominators? Cynthia here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to create viral pins on Pinterest. I've been getting a lot of requests to make more Pinterest videos for my YouTube channel, and so we are going to be diving deeper in this topic today. Also, if you are new to my channel, hey, what's up? My name is Cynthia, and I teach everything related to print on demand, how to make money online, and most of all, how to drive traffic from different places. So today we are going to be focusing on Pinterest, and if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified for more content that I put out just like this. Alrighty guys, let's get started. So why is it important to focus on Pinterest? First and foremost, Pinterest is very similar to Google because once you're able to rank at the top, it's very hard for you to lose that specific position. And I've been noticing that whenever your pins are able to be ranked at the top for certain keywords, it will last for months and years down the road. That is why I always push my students to learn Pinterest, because it is that worthwhile to invest your time now to build up your pins to rank for the top keywords in your niche. I still believe that Pinterest is still very underutilized by a lot of e-commerce owners, business owners, whatever you guys want to do in your business. Pinterest is definitely a great place to drive traffic. So it's very different than other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, because whenever someone posts something, almost immediately the lifespan is decreased within a matter of minutes because there's so much content being posted every second. And so once your pins get posted on Pinterest, you will get to start to rank for certain keywords. So it's not like Instagram or Twitter that unless it goes viral, people aren't going to see that after a few hours. And so that's why it's very important to also establish your presence for your brand on Pinterest right now. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to really design and create your pins to make them go viral, because oftentimes when my students come to me and they ask, why is my Pinterest pins not doing well? Why am I not getting the traffic? And some of the reasons are, they're not crafting their pins correctly to what Pinterest wants you to create to put on their platform. If it's a good pin, they're going to show it to more people. If it's a good pin, people will want to repin it, share it to their friends and their boards. They may even want to click through to your website. And so there are certain things that you really need to get right. So the first thing I want to talk about are pin dimensions. A lot of people are still uncertain about this, which is really important when you're creating these pins. So Pinterest recommends that you create your pins at a 2:3 ratio. So an example would be creating a pin that is 600 by 900 pixel or 1000 by 1500 pixel. So a 2:3 ratio is what Pinterest recommends that your pins be. Now, of course, you can create pins that are square, but square pins do not perform as well as vertical pins. Also, make sure that your pins are either in PNG or JPEG. A lot of times, for some reason, people create a pin that is saved to a file that is neither PNG or JPEG, and what happens is they go to upload it and Pinterest says, this is not the file that they would like you to upload. And so getting the right format is very important. Also, Pinterest states that the pins that are larger than 600 by 1260 will be truncated. What do I mean by that? Let me show you guys very quickly. So this is an example that I pulled from Pinterest, and as you can see, this pin is super long. Now, I understand the aesthetic of this pin is to provide their audience as much information in a pin as possible, but their pin is simply way too long. And the reason why I tell my students to avoid long pins is because unless people click on the certain pin where they can view the entirety of this pin, when they're scrolling through their news feeds right over here, as you guys can see, they don't automatically uh, see the entire pin because it's way too long. It gets cut right over here. So in sense, it's truncated and people can't see the entire pin. And so what happens is people don't care to click on it most of the time to kind of read all of your information. You know, to be honest, you're really fighting for a spot at people clicking and reading your pin, but you see all the other pins that's next to it, their pins aren't truncated. They don't need to click on it to actually read the entire information. And so making sure that your pins are the correct size and that it won't be cut off will also increase repins, increase people to click through your website. So this is what I mean. This is a 2-to-3 ratio. This is how it will look like. This is the preferred ratio to get the maximum amount of exposure and clicks to your website and repins. Now, I do know some students usually go for the 1:2 ratio, which is the one on the right side over here. Now this one is a little bit longer. You can go for a dimension that is in this size and it will not get truncated. But in my opinion, the 2:3 ratio works the best. All right, the next thing we got to think about when creating these viral pins is imagine you as the Pinterest user browsing through Pinterest and there's tons and tons of pins, right? And what allows you to stop and take a look at your pin is because something caught your eye. And what I mean by that is a pin that actually pops. And it's that curiosity factor, or it could be a picture or an image that you saw that is interesting and striking, or maybe it's the use of their fonts or color text, or it could be a headline that you were extremely curious about. You know, something about that pin will make you stop scrolling and pay attention. And so that's what I always teach my students. You know, if you're trying to fight for attention on Pinterest and fight to get repins and followers and all of that on Pinterest and building up that niche audience, then you got to get creative on how you're going to build your pins. So the first thing I want to talk about is the curiosity factor. So if you look at the pin on the left side, it just says, you know, secret weight loss recipe, and the photo that they chose is a green smoothie. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I think about losing weight, the normal lay person would immediately think about, okay, green juice, I already know that you can drink that daily basis and be able to lose weight, okay? So that's kind of common knowledge, in my opinion, okay? So in my case, I'm not curious enough to want to click on this link to read about this article. Versus this pin that I found when I'm trying to search for how to lose weight is this is titled Lose 24 Pounds in 2 Weeks with the Boiled Egg Diet. Now, for me, when I'm looking for an article on how to lose weight, this interests me because I've never heard of eating boiled eggs to lose weight. So I would be interested to reading this article, okay? Because it has that what? Curiosity factor. That is what is going to get you the clicks to your website. That's what's going to get you the repins. Okay, so the next question is, does the image color matter? Now, I have found that after doing many tests on Pinterest that more vibrant colors tend to perform a little bit better because it stands out. So using more dominant colors can get you more repins as opposed to, you know, just two monochromatic colors. And then reducing the amount of white space in the background will also make your pins perform better. So the next thing is this study that I have found, and they have ran multiple tests to figure out what type of pins works better and performs way better than others. So in this study, they compared different types of color. And what they have found are Images that are reddish orange get roughly twice as many repins than images that are blue. So as you can see over on this side, it's more like that reddish color versus this side, which is more of a bluish color. So whenever you are crafting your pin, try to incorporate more of that reddish, orange, and even yellowish color to really pull in that attention to your pin. So another part of this study is they were comparing and contrasting the number of colors that you put in your pin. And this is what they found. Images with multiple dominant colors have 3.25 times more repins than a single dominant color. As you can see, this is just a bracelet that is a silver, maybe a little bit black in there, versus this pin over here. They have different multiple colors. And so if you're adding more colors, to me, even as a person just looking at this, I would be more drawn to the picture on the left side simply because it has more colors and I'm drawn to it. Okay, this one seems kind of boring. If I see it, I'm just going to keep on scrolling. So definitely the number of colors, try to mix in different images. When you're typing in headlines, mix in different colors in your headlines. All right, so the next part that they were looking at is the background, and this is what they found. Images with less than 10% backgrounds receive 2 to 3 times more repins than images with more than 40% of the background. So as you can see, there's a lot of white space behind the sunglasses versus this one is showing a couch, and in the back it is the back of a wall. There's no white space at all, and this is shown to get more repins than something with a simply white background. The thing about Pinterest is what most people don't think about is people go on Pinterest to get ideas about home decor. How do they want their rooms to look like? Or if they're searching for a certain product, they want to be able to imagine themselves using it. How would they feel once they purchase that particular product? So seeing the sunglasses on a white background doesn't give them an idea of how they're going to enjoy this product. So in this case, with the sunglasses, you would be better off showing a model with the sunglasses, I don't know, maybe enjoying a day out with their friends. So when people are looking at that specific pin and they're looking to purchase sunglasses, they can really imagine themselves using the sunglasses and hanging out with their friends. So people want to pull ideas on Pinterest. And so, it comes to no surprise that just regular images with a plain white background performs a lot worse than pictures that are containing less white space and more of kind of how would your home look like after you get this couch, right? People really want to be able to imagine, how does my house look like? How would I feel after I purchase the product? All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the headline text overlays. A lot of people say, Cynthia, is it necessary to add headlines on the pins? Absolutely. I have found that pins with headlines get more repins and even more click-throughs than simply regular images. Of course, you guys can go and test this out yourself. And the reason behind that is people want to be able to read what your pin is going to be about. Simply looking at the picture, sometimes people don't want to go through the hassle of clicking on this specific pin to then read your description. Okay, people consume information a lot quicker and they don't really have enough time to click on something that they may or may not be interested in. So definitely always add in a headline on all of your pins. Okay, this one is a big one, and that is the use of deadlines. Now, I have tested this out myself, and whenever I create a pin that contains certain deadlines, and what I mean by that is, take a look at the pin on the right side. It says 30 days of Mediterranean diet recipes ready in 30 minutes. Notice they add in 30 days and also 30 minutes. These pins usually perform a little bit better because they contain a certain time frame that the person can really imagine themselves accomplishing within a certain amount of days, within a certain amount of minutes, versus the pin on the left side, which says quick and easy apple dumplings. Everyone asked me for this simple recipe. Now, instead of putting this as the headline, this person can actually change it up and said, a 30-minute quick and easy apple dumplings, something like that. It really just putting a time frame can help people visualize how long it would actually take them to create the finished product. And so people will be more interested in clicking on this pin versus this pin over here. So really do test out the deadlines. So the next thing I want to talk about is popular keywords. Now, I did find this on the website Buffer, and they provide a lot of great information on that website. Now, what they have found is the most common words on Pinterest being used are as follows, and they list it by popularity. So the first one is make, design, logo, new, love, get one, free, and then day. Okay, and then they also did another study that shows that the most common words used in popular pins are as follows, and they list it here. Now, I took a look at both of these in terms of the most common words and the most common words used in popular pins. And I found some of the similar words that people are using on both of these, and that is make, one, free, love. These are literally one of the most common words on popular pins. And so when you are creating your headlines or when you're figuring out how to name your pins to optimize it for SEO, look at what is really working on Pinterest. A lot of times people really want to get creative and unique with their headlines, and they come back and say, I'm not getting the traffic, I'm not ranking. Well, it's because you're not seeing what's working for people who are ranking for that number one or number two spot on Pinterest. And so when you incorporate more popular pins like make, okay, for an example, how to make vegan food. All right, another one is free. You can incorporate learn how to get free gift cards. Okay, these are just example headlines that you can create when you are thinking about what types of pins that you want to curate in your boards. Okay, so before you create your pins, because everyone is so eager to get on Canva or get on Photoshop to create these pins, I would always say do your research first in your niche before you produce your content. Mainly because don't spend a bunch of time trying to create this beautiful pin to realize that no one is actually searching for that specific keyword, no one is searching for that specific article. So the thing is, when no one is searching for it because it's so niche down, you're going to be wasting time writing blog content, creating those pins when no one is going to really click on them. So really go into Pinterest and find keywords that have high search volume and then create your content around that. So let's talk about some of the best practices. And the number one thing is target a pain point or solve a problem. Now, if you are creating a blog about weight loss, you definitely want to target what people's pain point is. Be able to become a problem solver. That's how you're going to get the click-throughs. That's how you're going to get the repins. Another example is, say you're in the dropshipping niche and you want to sell a certain product. Maybe it's a personal massager. You can create a pain point that people are having. Maybe they're having back pain, and let them know how your specific product can help them get back pain relief. Now, another thing is Text must be large and not small or blurry. The last thing you want is when people are scrolling through their news feed is to have them read a text or a font that's too small. Okay, and a lot of times people try to use fancy fonts. Do not try to use fancy fonts. Sometimes they are non-readable and people cannot read them. Just use a regular font, bold it if you can. Just make sure that it is readable. What I like to do is when I create those pins inside of Photoshop, I like to shrink my pin as small as possible, as if I'm reading it on my phone, and I ask myself, can I actually read those texts when it's that small? Remember, we're trying to get people to click on our pins, and we're kind of fighting the attention with other pins when people are scrolling through. So make sure that your texts are large enough so people can read what your pin is about. Make sure your font is easily readable. And also make sure that the images that you use are high quality. A lot of times it turns people off when your images are it's low resolution and it's blurry. Nobody wants to click on it. Okay. So some places that I actually recommend to get these high quality images are Pixabay or Pexels, really royalty free sites that you can grab and search for any images inside of your niche. So the next thing I want to talk about is logos on pins. Sometimes people ask me, is it necessary? Should I do it? It's really optional in my opinion, but I do highly recommend it. If you are creating your own content and your own pins, why not also add your logo on those pins? Some of the advantages include it prevents people altogether from stealing your pin, because I get a lot of people ask me, they've seen the pins that they worked so hard on and their competitors just stole it and then add their own headlines and stuff. And that happens a lot. So by adding your logo, you're adding that extra protection that no one's going to take your pins and reuse them for themselves. Another great advantage of putting logos on your pins is that it's great for branding. When people are looking at a specific pin and they see a logo on that pin, immediately they're going to associate your logo to the interest that they're trying to research about. So whether that's camping, that's sewing, or home decor, DIY, they're going to want to associate your logo with their specific interests. Okay. And I do recommend that you place your logo very strategically on your pin. It should be prominent on the pin, but not so intrusive that it's like covering, your headline or covering the most important image on your pin. Also, logos create credibility. The thing about the public when they see a logo is that you're automatically in a position of authority, and you want to be in that position where you are the go-to person for that specific niche. So say for example, you are selling camping equipment. You definitely want to add your logo on all of your pins because you want to be seen as one of the top suppliers for selling camping equipment. Okay, so it adds that extra layer of, this is the company I trust. They're able to create their own logo and brand their own pins. So they're going to follow your page and create that following inside of your Pinterest that really drives that organic traffic to your website. So here's an example. I just took a screenshot when I typed in some workout tanks. This is immediately what I found. So a lot of these photos over here do not contain any type of logos. As you can see over here, it's just a regular tank. But if you look at the one over here, they have two tanks, but they've also added in their logo. In my opinion, not only does it look a lot more professional, but I would be more apt to click on this because it adds that extra layer of trust and credibility. So that's why I do encourage you guys to add your logo if possible. Of course, it is optional. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Again, if you guys have questions regarding anything related to Pinterest, feel free to join my Facebook support group, or you can search it. It's called Ecom Dominators. We do have a bunch of entrepreneurs in there kind of discussing about different things, whether it's how to make money online, e-commerce, how to build your Facebook fan page, how to create Pinterest ads, anything regarding how to market online. This is the place to be. And so if you're interested, I'll have the link down below. Go ahead and join that support group, 100% free. Now, before I let you guys go, I just want to mention very quickly that if you're serious about learning how to market on Pinterest, then you definitely need to check out my Pinterest masterclass called Pin Formula, where I'll take you from A to Z on how to generate traffic, both organic and paid. So in this section, in the introduction, I'll talk a little bit about how Pinterest really works. Then I'll go deeper into understanding Pinterest, setting up your Pinterest accounts, boards and pins, how to create different pins that will go viral. I'll be going more in depth about that. And then I'm going to be talking about some of the great pinning techniques and how to really get that traffic. I'll even talk about Pinterest SEO. Most people don't know how to create headlines when they are trying to rank for certain keywords. Also, I'll talk about group boards are very important, and I'll give you a full tailwind training which will help you automate all of your pins and your boards. Also, in this section, I'll be going more in depth about Pinterest paid ads. I'll also be talking about how to really analyze each of your pins to see which one is performing. The best performers, I usually recommend to produce more of that content. Also, you'll get a lot of my bonus trainings and also some of the useful resources and templates that it's all included once you join my Pin Formula masterclass. Again, if you're interested, just go to pinformula.com to join this program. Alrighty guys, that's it for today's video. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Live free.